In this video, we're going to have a look at records and specifically how to copy a record and duplicate most of its values into a new variable. So to make it concrete, let's define a type to begin with. So a record type. We're going to call this my record, like that. And we initialize it like usual. If you don't know how to initialize a record, I have a video on that you can check out in the description. We need to specify some parameters of this, and we're just going to call them x, y, z. So first one is going to be x, it's an integer. Second is y, it's also an integer. And third is z. Let's make that an integer as well. Okay, so we have these three parameters, and normally we would have some instantiation of this record. So let my record 1 be an instance of this, and you've seen in the past how to initialize these records. So we will just use the myRecord.x variable, set it to 1, let's say. For the second one, we want the y variable, and we're going to let that be 2. And lastly, the z variable, like so, and we'll set it to be 3. So just for reference, let's evaluate this to make sure that we don't have any mistakes in the syntax. And let's assume now that we want to take this record, myRecord1, and we want to duplicate it and make a second record that has most of the attributes of this first one. So you could imagine if we have some code that we are evaluating, we might want to copy a record with just slight modifications, but there might be a lot of attributes in here, and there might be nested records, for example. So initializing a new object from scratch would be cumbersome, to say the least. So we want some way of copying this record, but just making changes to one or a couple of components. You can see here that the record we initialized looks good, and we would then want to initialize myRecord2. So let myRecord2. Let's say we want to take myRecord1 and we just want to change the y variable. The way we would do that is we would write myRecord1 like so, and then use the with keyword. This is going to allow us to specify the parameters that we had and give them new values. So we could say that this time we want y to be 100, let's say, and we can also specify z to be 2. If we run this one now, we should be able to see that we can copy this record very easily and define a new one with slightly altered elements to it. So you can see that my record here had values 1, 2, 3. This new record that we have has 1, 102, just like we specified in the initialization. And if I look at my record 1, what you're going to see is it's not changed. So we still preserve the immutability of F#. It's not like we're altering the original record here. We're just using it as a reference when we initialize record 2 and give record 2 additionally these updates to the parameters. So that's a very useful way when you're working with records and you want to create a new variable with slightly modified parameters.